Hello, in today's video we're going to have a look at the swing of Brandon Robinson-Thompson, otherwise known as BRT on his socials, an up-and-coming English player. He's got a fantastic swing, and here specifically I want us to have a look at a drill he's doing, one of my favorite drills, and he's doing it with the aid of the Sure Set connector training aid. And really the goal, the task, what I want to see happen today is that you start to incorporate some of these moves that help make him such a great ball striker and put them into your own swings. Try and learn what it feels like to execute these moves. So obviously we're trying to make the most of every second you have practicing. We don't want you just hitting balls willy-nilly, so to speak. I want you to practice with purpose. We want you to practice diligently. Let's get stuck in. Let's have a look at how BRT does it and how you can learn from him. BRT is on the range here up in Scotland, and a video face on and down the line provided by Dan Frost, and you see he is practicing right here with the connector training aid between his arms. Now what I want you to notice is how he is essentially working on what I describe always as the basic moves. I describe it as Golf 101, and please, if you haven't seen my videos related to Golf 101, then please do go and check them out, right? It really is the perfect training swing in order to really incorporate all the basics, improve your golf. So what is he doing here? He's not doing a full motion, as we can see. He's going to just past P3 on the backswing and just past P9 on the follow through right here. Okay, so what are we looking at? What is he doing specifically? So if we just look at the basic moves, the things he's doing really well here, I'm just going to draw a line here to mark his inclination to the ground. In other words, how far he is from the ground with his upper body, with his chest. And what you notice is as he makes his backswing, it remains constant, and it's remaining constant because his left shoulder's moving downwards. That's the left tilt. And as he does so, notice how he started to flex the lead leg a little bit. So he's flexed the lead leg a little bit more than it was to dress, and he straightened the trail leg a little bit more than it was to dress. The result of this is that his lead hip is a little bit lower than his trail hip. His lead shoulder is lower than his trail shoulder, like so. Really nice position to get in. And then, as you look at his arms, you can see how straight the left arm is, obviously, but also how straight the trail arm is. And you'll notice how both elbows are roughly the same distance away from the ground. He's squeezing the elbows together as he makes this move. Then, as he starts the downswing, you'll see that he maintains his inclination to the ground as he comes through the golf ball, like so. So his left tilt has now been changed into a right tilt. Notice how, when he comes through here, just how straight his arms are, right? So his arms are right here. And notice how they are rotating past the chest in such a way that the arms and hands now look like they are to the left of the trail of the lead shoulder as we were looking in the picture. So specifically, what do I mean by that? So if we draw a line for where the lead shoulder is right here, his hands are very much to the left of that line. The other things you'll notice here is how, whilst he's kept his arms straight, he's now got his belt buckle pointing forwards towards the target. You'll notice how he's banked the trail foot, like so. So he hasn't got his heel popping up in the air excessively. And in fact, he's starting to show us the studs underneath the trail shoe, underneath his right foot. So that is the banking of a foot. It's the inversion of a trail foot. Notice how there's no gap here visible between his legs. So he's really doing the hip slide component, the banking of the foot, as we'll see from the face-on view, while tracing an arc with really straight arms. So this practice is just reinforcing those things. It's reinforcing swinging on an arc with straight arms, going around a fixed axis, as in around the fixed head, which enables him to keep his inclination to the ground. So really nice demonstration, in fact, of Golf 101, and all facilitated here also by having the connector training aid, so you can really emphasize the straightness in those arms and how the body works in sync with one another. So hips, shoulders, arms feel like they're in sync when he's doing this. If we look from the right hand side here, notice how he makes his backswing and he doesn't shift off the ball. So if we look, get to the top of the backswing, and we have what I would describe as a nice tripod right here. So swing center tripod, so the head, the shoulders are perfectly centered, the hips don't shift backwards. And again, if you look at the movement of the knees, you've had the lead knees flexed in this direction, the trail knees extended in this direction, which has facilitated the pelvis not swaying backwards. From here, you can really see how straight his trail arm is. So it's obviously bending some amount. I would say the angle currently between the humerus and the forearms probably about 100, 110 degrees. It's not flexing nearly as much as some people do, right? So his arms, his hands at this point in time are well to the left of his chest as we're looking at the picture. As he comes down, you can see the weight shift, the hip slide, you see the left knee flexing in front of the lead heel, so the left knee flexing in front of the lead heel right here. And you can see how his arms and hands are coming back down and across his chest. So that when he hits the ball here, he's going to have lots of shaft lean. Then you can see he makes a very concerted effort to start to extend to this point right here. So you see the belt buckle forwards has moved forwards and upwards. If I stop at P6, club shaft parallel to ground, the belt buckle is right here. And as he comes through the ball, the belt buckle is now all the way up here. Okay, so that's the forwards and upwards motion of the pelvis. It's the tuck-in of the hips. You see his chest points nicely at this point upwards to the sky, and you see the trail heel hasn't moved further away from the target than the toes. So that's the banking of the trail foot. What you typically see is in high handicap players is this trail heel starts to work this way backwards, as the golfers have their weight back and they rotate around the backwards point. Not the case with good players. The hips are going forwards, upwards, banking of the foot like he's done right here. So a really nice motion again of arm straight, weight forwards, handle forwards, tuck in the hips, getting the chest pointing to the sky. So again, if you can do all these little moves in a similar swing, and I'll repeat it again, just this is what I call the Golf 101 motion, it's going to build in so many nice pieces into your swing, and you'll be able to do them at a speed, at a pace that you're able to control, so you're really able to acquire a really good feel for how you're doing it. So here I am in position with the connector. So as I make my backswing, you'll notice I'm keeping my head very centered, right? It's not translating backwards, it's staying very centered. As you look at me from down the line, I'm taking my hands backwards, upwards, inwards on the arc. My arms are staying relatively straight. There's not an excessive amount of bends of the trail arm, like so. So head stays relatively centered. Hands go back up and in. Trail arm stays pretty nice and straight. As I'm coming through the ball, the hips go forwards. Notice how the belt buckle goes forwards, up and around, like so. My arms are still very straight. And I'm trying to do that with the golf ball. So I get in position, steady head, hands in, arms straight, belt buckle forwards and upwards, tuck hips in other words. And I practice this shot. And that's with the connector ball in place. I try and acquire that feel, doing it well. I then get myself in position with out the connector ball between my elbows, and I'll try and do the same thing. And you're just trying to develop the feel for those different moves. And from shot to shot, you can think of a different one. You can highlight, emphasize a different one. So it could be very specifically, I'm going to make sure I finish on the next one with the arms absolutely as straight as possible. And if you do that, great. Each time incorporating a different move, getting closer and closer to doing it exactly the way you want to. And I promise you over time, you get better and better at it. and consequently your golf improves. Like I said, make sure that your practice time counts and that you're doing things right, not just hitting balls for the sake of it. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any comments at all, then please don't hesitate to pop them down in the comments below. Likewise, if you haven't yet, then please do like and subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely going to help you play your best golf. Likewise, it will help me build a sound community of golfers all wanting to improve. If you'd like to work with me in person, you can do so right here on the south coast of England, near Bournemouth, or wherever you are in the world through the Skillist app. It's a fantastic way to get feedback no matter where you are in the world, and be sure to be on the steady roads towards your best golf. Happy golfing.